Okay, this video isn't exactly book related. Well, it could be. There's probably some books in here about Florida, and that's where I met Jay North back in 2001. Jay North was a child star. He played Dennis the Menace in this old sitcom for families from like the late 50s to the early 60s. And then the show lived on in syndication for a long time. But when my hike was walking across the country, a charity hike back in 2001, we just happened to meet his family, and when we were passing through Lake Butler, Florida, and got to know him, and he was like super interesting, an unusual person. Like he, when we met him, he was working as a death row prison guard. Like he was a child star who became a death row prison guard. But he and his family were like so wholesome and nice. They were just like, I really liked them a lot. We hung out with his stepdaughter Haley a lot and his wife Cindy, and they were all just great, awesome people. And we kept in touch with Jay North for a while. He almost made a movie with my dad later on. My dad was executive producing indie movies, but they were all, man, let's just say they were all very connected with the Utah film market. And that never happened for whatever reason. But for about a week, we stayed with him and his family, and his house was just incredible. This like bizarre palace of memorabilia to this specific character and show, like glass coffee tables with all, like every TV guide and record cover and like just everything, because there were tie-ins and toys and marketing, and he really was like this iconic TV character for a long time. And then he had to live with that and grow up with that. We watched his True Hollywood Story with him. And, I want to, actually, I wrote about this so I've been working on this 60-volume autobiography forever. There's some videos about it, and I'll post another one before long. And every chapter of my memoir is a different form, and kind of because of whatever the subject matter is. And for the most cinematic chapter of my life, this hike across the country, it's written as a 7-episode miniseries. And so I have like the scenes written up of when we went through Florida and met him. And I want to read them because I'm thinking about Jay North today. I saw that on my computer news homepage at work, and I was like, Jay North, man. Should have kept in touch with that guy. He was actually really cool. We also watched his Simpsons episode. He was like a genuine and interesting person. There's like so many glowing things about him in the news when people talk, but he had an interesting life. His family was super great. Should have kept in touch with his stepdaughter, because our group made friends with her. They were like a total highlight of our walk across the country. But I remember anyway, let me read this part I wrote. Oh, look at that kitty. And that one. All right, here we go. So this is the chapter of my book that's the script for a 7-part screenplay miniseries. And each episode is basically like feature length. It'd be like 90 minutes probably if you filmed it with all the music. It's like Wild meets Easy Rider. Anyway, it's called What We Found When We Walked Across America. Yeah, and we happened to walk across America the year of 9/11. Started January 1st, 2001. Okay, Jay North. Here we go. Okay, but I need to skip back one page. I wrote this in micro scenes, so it could be really closely connected to memory, Yeah, you have to recreate dialogue from imagination, but if you have good journals and notes and resources and people you can talk to and check your memories with, you can write pretty accurate nonfiction even in screenplay form, I think. So here's a little scene. Exterior, strip mine by the Florida Trail day. 6 hikers walk up to an area in which every square foot has been powerfully harrowed/churned. It's like an imagined worst-case scenario in a movie. This place has been devoured and expelled, torn up alive and spat out dead. The hikers approach it, suddenly reverent, suddenly slowing. The whole site is so eerily quiet. There's a little bird song. Dakota, what did Rick say? Strip mines for zirconium, for DuPont, for making paint? It replaces lead. One of those weird little complicated scenes that happens in real life, Oh, look at this environmental destruction. Lead paint is also bad. Is that the only way to get zirconium? I don't know. You got to get rid of lead paint. You have to. Once you know what causes all these problems. birth defects and lifelong problems. And then exterior, middle-class house, Lake Butler, Florida, day. The hikers walk toward a house and along its paved walkway. John. So he was in that, like, 90s movie? This is weird. Jeff. No, he was in that black and white show that played on Nickelodeon. We met his wife and daughter in a park. Mike. At least he wasn't in the Never Once Funny daily comic. John and Jeff chuckle and nod in mildly amused agreement. Interior, living room, unique house, Lake Butler, Florida, day. This house is the home of Jay North, former child star of Dennis the Menace, which aired on CBS from 1959 to 1963. Every wall is covered in Dennis the Menace memorabilia. Every counter has Dennis the Menace memorabilia crowded within it. Cardboard cutouts, props, along with other entertainment industry ephemera for movies featuring North. Old family movies like Maya and A Zebra in the Kitchen. The hikers look around in bewildered awe. Bewildered. Awed. Soon, the hikers sit in the house's Jay North's Dennis the Menace themed 1959 to 1963 themed kitsch themed living room. Across from the hikers sit Jay North, his wife Cindy, and his stylish fit teenage stepdaughter Haley. Haley wears a pretty Hate Machine t-shirt and is making a dark collage. Ray examines an issue of TV Guide displayed inside a glass coffee table, a young Jay North in character on the cover. Jay North. And now I'm a prison guard for death row prisoners here in Lake Butler. Pretty wild career shift. Soon, the hikers all watch Jay North's True Hollywood Story. Large-sized TV screen. Jay North, an adult dressed as his childhood character, a colorful Dennis the Menace, lies on a rooftop with a tripod-mounted sniper rifle pointed down at a studio executive. Jay North, OS, commenting live. I had some feelings I needed to work through. Hey. And then the next scene is when Ray and Kim, two of the hikers, saw a panther. But Jay North was a really cool guy, and, when somebody with any kind of career in the arts dies, it's, like, interesting to think about, I think. There's just so many different versions. The child star who's mostly active in one brief window, that's really interesting. That's an interesting life. And Lake Butler, Florida is, like, this beautiful place. I mean, it's, like, the swamps of Florida. It's wild. There happens to be a big prison near there. Look at that. They're running a tribute stream. Shout TV. There's like a lot of results on YouTube when you look them up. 73 is not as old as you can get, Guess he had cancer. Cancer really sucks. I hope we see cures for it in our lifetime. I've known so many people that battled with it. Just today I heard a high schooler say she came in crying because she had just gotten a cancer diagnosis. Sad. It's not a death sentence, Lots of people beat it. But it sucks. Yeah, he was like a funny guy. I think he liked to play up on the image that he was like a damaged child star. It was funny. I mean, there's really some funny clips in his True Hollywood Story where he like gets a sniper rifle and like is waiting for his agent or something outside of the building, or some TV exec. Dressed up as a Dennis the Menace character. This must be that clip. And he kind of parodied himself, poked fun at himself on The Simpsons. Well, if the North family ever sees this, I hope they hear that you're remembered fondly by 6 hikers that met you and stayed with you back in the day. And so is your dad, Apparently there's feeds like Celebrity Tribute. I remember he talked really like irreverently about some rare 1984 TV interview. But like going from a child star to a death row prison guard, I mean, that's like, I can't see that in anything other than like mythic tones. Those are such like different things. I don't know. It's literally light and darkness, Like the light of the TV and all these millions of homes. And the darkness of people's final moments, Oftentimes people that have done really horrible stuff. Jay North was hiding these secrets his whole career. I saw one interview where he talked about an aunt that was like his guardian when he was on sets and stuff as a kid, being kind of abusive of his time. And well, not the usual thing I post on this channel. This is a book channel, but the arts, you know, there's a bigger picture than just books, you know, arts and entertainment, blurry lines there, right? But people that create amidst entropy, you know, that's, you know, even if you just have incredible success doing it as a kid for a few years or something. I'm sure he was always doing other creative stuff too, you know, everyone does. Having a home and a family, you know, I mean. What's up, Squirrel? What's up, Priest? I feel bad they were home for a long time alone today. Television's vintage black and white era, Dennis the Menace. I really have never liked that comic strip that it's based on. It's like, you know, lowest common denominator stuff in my opinion. And yet, it was a huge influence on the Hernandez brothers who love it. And they made Love and Rockets, which is like this incredible graphic masterpiece of families across generations. I mean, it's high art literature at this point. There's so much to it, and they go so in depth and so in every direction. Everything I've ever read from Love and Rockets is incredible. And so I'm like, well, does that mean the Dennis the Menace comic is actually good? Because they're geniuses, and they're like, to me, it just seems like one panel fluff, you know? Mom, I tracked in mud all over the kitchen. Is that okay? But I remember enjoying this show when it played on Nickelodeon in the 90s and thinking it was funny. Yeah, people still watch black and white stuff in the 90s. I've noticed that's like unheard of with the youth today. But I remember like a percentage of what I watched was black and white because I liked old stuff. I would watch like Nick at Night, and they'd even play like Charlie Chaplin stuff on like PBS, and I'd be like, yeah, let's watch it. But yeah, what an interesting career. What an interesting life. Maybe someday he'll get a good showbiz biography. It'd be an unusual one, I think, but not boring. You know? Yeah. No, we had a great time. In fact, he bought my then brother, now sister, an air fryer. He's like, you gotta know an air fryer. He just like went to a thrift store one day, and Jay North bought my sibling an air fryer, which was then sent back home. We were still only about a month into walking across the country, maybe 2. But my neighbors have something going on tonight. Everyone's out talking. All right. R.I.P. Jay North. You're an awesome guy. Felt like I should say something, you know? The hell that Jay North went through making Dennis the Menace. Interesting. Well, all right. R.I.P. Jay North. And I'll post some more bookish content after this. All right. Take care, everybody. And R.I.P. to a real one.